Hello everyone and welcome back. We are now in week 3. This is the second year of Jesus's public ministry and it's the year of popularity. Last week we finished the opening events and the early part of his ministries. Now for this entire year we are in the period of extended ministry. And we're going to break this up into two parts. There is the early Galilean period and then the middle Galilean period. Once we get to the final Galilean period, then we'll be in his year of oppression. So for the next 2 days, today and then tomorrow, we're just going to focus on the early Galilean period. Last week we saw that Jesus went up to Jerusalem for the Passover. Then he's making his way back from Jerusalem to Galilee, but he passes through Judea and Samaria before arriving in Galilee. For 30 years he lived in Galilee as the son of a carpenter, but now that he's coming back, he's coming as Christ, the Son of God. Even in this year of popularity, we see that right off the bat, he's going to experience some oppression. He was not unaware that he was going to experience some oppression coming back to his hometown. So early on, he would experience some oppression, but primarily he is riding on this popularity from what happened in Jerusalem. No doubt the people of Galilee probably went to Jerusalem and saw the really amazing things that Jesus had done there, the miracles and the temple and everything. So Jesus wanted to take full advantage of this popularity. In other words, he wanted to complete his mission while the door was still open in Galilee. That door would eventually be closed by jealous religious leaders and the crowds in which they would control. Jesus spent about 20 months of his total public ministry in Galilee. 14 of those months are called the extended ministries because that's where Jesus is doing most of his public work and ministries. Because Galilee is so important to the ministry of Jesus, we should take some time to talk about what Galilee was like. Galilee bordered the Sea of Galilee, and it was the northernmost part of the Jewish homeland. The size of Galilee was about 60 miles by 30 miles, and the population was about 3 million. There were over 200 cities and villages in Galilee, but if we were to focus on one that Jesus spent his most time in, it would probably be Capernaum. That was the center of his evangelistic campaign. All right, so this whole week we're going to be dealing with a lot of biblical text. And you could look at it from several different gospels. I'm going to put all the different places that these events happen, but you should choose one primary gospel to focus on. You can jump around, but really look at one gospel at a time. As you read, I want you to underline or circle or note the key words and phrases that you see in the Bible, and also list any spiritual applications that you can find from the text to apply to your own life. Okay, so we're going to begin the early Galilean period. As he goes through Galilee, we're going to start by looking at a general description of this ministry. Think about how large the extended ministry of Jesus was in Galilee. Next, I want you to look at the nobleman's son being healed. Think about what kind of belief is Jesus describing in verse 48. What kind of belief is he talking about in verse 50? And what kind of belief is he talking about in verse 53? Also, what is taught about Jesus' methods of working miracles? Now we're going to look at the first rejection at Nazareth. At one point, the people received Jesus' words as gracious words. And then later, they're outraged with his words. What brought on the change? What is the tremendous miracle that happens in verse 30? And now we're moving to Capernaum. And we can start with a general description. And as you read this general description, think about what the spiritual needs of the people were. Next, we're going to go to a really cool part where we see the call of the 4 fishermen. Think about why Jesus used the phrase fisher of men. Keep in mind that Andrew and Peter were one of the first people to follow Jesus. And now we see Jesus talking to them again. And we're going to stop here for today at a day of miracles. Think of how important Jesus' authority is as he's doing these miracles. He heals someone who is demon-possessed. He also heals Peter's mother-in-law. And there are many, many people that are healed. Thank you very much for sticking with us all the way until week 3. I know it's a lot of hard work, but it's totally worth it. And go ahead and enjoy reading your Bibles. Thank you very much.